Hey, I wanted to stop by today and ask you if you have ever felt frustrated. Um, Now, I personally have experienced some frustration in that I had a knowing that God wanted me to switch from being a virtual assistant and become what I thought was a coach for entrepreneurs. And in that process, as I took steps that I thought he was telling me to do, it came to me one day. I heard him say to me, "It's bigger than entrepreneurs." Well, that was exciting, but what does that mean exactly? So it's in the waiting sometimes that we can feel really frustrated. If God gives us an assignment or he tells us that he wants us to do something, sometimes we're not really entirely sure what that looks like. So I was just wondering, have you ever felt that frustration? Maybe he's given you a knowing and it's been a really long time since it's like come to fruition. Um, for me, what that looked like was just day by day. I try to meet with God. I try to find out what's on his heart and then try to come up with a plan. And sometimes I hear really clearly, and sometimes my brain just gets so busy that I don't necessarily um, have the ability to be still enough. So you've heard the expression, like, "Have you arrived?" Right? People have success or notoriety. And sometimes we can get caught up in planning something or stepping out in faith and doing something, and then our numbers look small. And there are millions of people out there that are going to tell you, I used to joke, if one more person sends me an email and tells me that they can help me gain, uh, 10 million subscribers in 10 minutes or help me make $10 million in 10 days, I was going to scream because there's just so many things out there that people are pushing an agenda and they're trying to make a buck and they're trying to grow their audience. And then you go to do something that you're sure God told you to do, and your numbers don't look like theirs. Well, the first thing I want to say to you is we have to, if we're going to partner with God and we're going to do things God's way, we have to let God be the God of the outcome too. So we get something in our heads and we have preconceived ideas and we think, whoa, we're going to fill the room with people. And whether it's a workshop or maybe you're going to be a guest speaker, maybe you I don't know, you're running a course or a class and your numbers aren't as big as you thought they were going to be. What I want to tell you is it's really important that every time we get frustrated, we need to go back to God and we need to ask Him what His plan is. Maybe He's growing us in this season. Maybe we're not ready to handle thousands of people. And honestly, this doesn't just necessarily apply to those that are in business. This can apply to anything in your life. Maybe you think you're supposed to run an organization, like as a volunteer or something, or be in charge of something. I think of Joseph and how um, he had like a couple dreams, right? And it took years for that to come to fruition, and he kept getting into trouble. He kept ending up like his brothers hated him because um, they thought he was bragging about his dreams and they were going to have to bow down to him. His dad was kind of irritated with him because his in the dream, he told his dad the second dream that, he too was going to bow down to him. And then his brothers faked his death. He ended up as a slave. He ended up in jail. Like there were all these delays. But you know what God was doing? He was growing him and he was building his character. and he learned how to take care of people. And he learned in that time how to show up and be the best at whatever he's doing in whatever circumstance he's in. That's the difference. And so we can be in a waiting period where it's super frustrating and we just really wonder where God is. But what I would encourage you to do is actually look for the fruit. So when we talk about fruit, is there love? Is there joy? How about patience, gentleness, self control? You look at the fruits of the Spirit. Is God trying to grow those in you? Or is he trying to teach you something in the process of maybe he's trying to grow your faith and trust in him? Because we all come with things that are hurtful to us and things that we need to have healing for. And so, in that growth, God can heal some of those hurts to help us move past that and serve at a higher capacity that maybe we would have had otherwise. So there is no there, and there's no like you've arrived per se. What I would say is that when you get frustrated, I really want you to go back and just get some quiet time with God and ask Him um, about what He's teaching you in this moment, and let Him be the God of the outcome, since He was the God of the direction. And, sometimes we try to put God in a box. God created the box. And so we can't put him in it. We may think it's supposed to be one way when in fact it's going to look completely different. So that's just my encouragement today for you. Let God be the creator of the box, the creator of the ideas, and the creator of the outcome, even when you get frustrated. It's important that you have people around you that can pray with you when you get discouraged and people that can encourage you. So I'd love to know if you're, in the midst of like a storm where you just feel like God hasn't delivered on a promise or a knowing that he gave you. And believe me, I know that's incredibly frustrating. I know it's really hard to stand in that knowing, especially when we do things differently than the world does, right? So, for example, when he told me to start this ministry, um, I had a knowing. And in that knowing, it wasn't coming together real quickly. And so it was really hard because, the bills keep coming in, right? We still have to make our payments on our home and our car. And, I don't know, we still have to buy groceries and whatever else, even if we try to live in a way that's meager or conservative, there's still things that we have to pay for. And I kept asking God, do you want me to go get a job? And I would hear, no, wait. And it was really hard because you'll hear from everybody else. Um, like Dave Ramsey, for example, he uses the phrase, if you're in a hole, get a bigger shovel. And what that basically means is you got to get another job or you got to find another way to make income so that you can, get yourself out of debt. And so it wasn't making sense to me. And it was just really frustrating. And it was super hard because I would ask every day. I would drive by someplace and I would just be like, God, do you want me to get a job at the Walmart? And I would hear, no, wait. And you know what? The waiting paid off. The waiting paid off because what God has me doing is intercessory prayer. He has me working with people to help them get healing for the things that hold them back in life. And that doesn't look like a regular job. That doesn't look like what the world is doing. And yet I know that he called me to something that is way bigger than I am, because without him, there is absolutely no way I could do it. None. He gives me prophetic insight. He helps me know what to say to the person. He speaks through me to that person. If we're in a group setting, there's like this collective wisdom that happens, and there is healing that happens. Healing so that you can do what God's called you to do. It's beautiful. It is so beautiful. And I wouldn't want to miss out on that. So there's nothing wrong if God tells you, yes, go get a job here, or here's, I was asking him for if there was virtual assistant work I could do, because I can do that pretty easily. Um, and the answer was no. And I had to stand in obedience, even though it was super uncomfortable. So, one of the things that I want to put out there is I am going to do lives on a regular basis and offer prayer. I'll probably start out just praying for general things. People tell me different things that they're concerned about, and we'll just do some prayer. If you have prayer requests, go ahead and put them below. I do read all of them and will respond. And if you're in the struggle where you have a knowing, but it's just not coming to fruition, put knowing below, because I can join you in prayer for that knowing. And it would be my honor and my privilege to come alongside you and pray with you in that way. So I want you to remember to look for the fruit. I'm just checking my notes here. And I want you to remember that there's no like arriving at a destination, because we're in a continual growth process with God until we are on the other side and in heaven. On this side of heaven, we are always growing, we are always learning, and God is always giving us new challenges and taking us to new heights. So don't be discouraged. Just know you're not in it alone. God is with you and He is talking to you. So, if you want to belong to a community of like minded believers, there's a link below that you can join our tribe, our Kingdom Breakthrough Tribe. There's also an opportunity to support the ministry with a donation. We're not nonprofit, but it is something that you could write off perhaps in way of education, and you can talk to your tax accountant about that. But it's a great way to support the ministry so that we can continue providing um, just different programs and content that help people heal, that help people step into their calling, the very thing, their assignment, and help them get in alignment with their assignment. So, I'm Melissa Schultz, if you haven't been here before, and I welcome you. And I want to hear below, where are you at with things? Are you struggling? Because I get it if you are. You're not alone. Until next time, keep shining your light.